Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Shout out to everybody in the chat that's been waiting, those that have been hitting the like button. Thank you guys so much for being here. Y'all can be somewhere else, but you're here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Shout out to my wonderful, beautiful mods, my supporters. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Shout out to everybody. Listen, we still got to talk about Riley and his disappearance, absolutely, and do what we can as far as bringing more awareness to this young man that went missing on March 8th. Okay, college student. You know, circumstances are definitely interesting, right? If you come to think about it, we've reviewed the footage, we've talked a little bit about it here, and we've kind of cut a couple things here and there. So I wanted to do that with you guys. Shout out to everybody, y'all. Thank you for joining me. I did contact, so everybody knows and is aware. I contacted SF Investigates, who has been also been an advocate. You guys know SF Investigates advocates for a lot of missing families, and I had seen a couple of his posts today regarding misinformation. So I want to do my part to make sure that I do what I can to make sure that whatever I put out there is correct. We get to speculating. We just have to make sure, if you speculate is one thing, but to make sure that you're actually putting what's factually there. There's been a lot of speculation as it pertains to this case, and rightfully so to a certain degree. If you think about it, there's just been so many questions, so many unanswered questions. Police have been releasing some of this footage. Family has been, really worried about this young man. Mom, dad, family, all together are uniting and asking, support to find this young man. And I know we have the Cajun Navy out there. Yesterday, they shut down the dam, to for the searches, right? Which is great, right? I'm happy to see that there's progress being made, as far as searching goes. We have the debit card slash credit card that's been found. A lot of questions have been surrounding around that. So we're going to do our best to, talk about this case in the first of all, with a lot of empathy. Okay. We've had a lot of witnesses. A lot of us had questions about those witnesses. Shout out to all the witnesses. I don't ever want to discredit the story. I do feel like, we just got some questions about the witnesses as it pertains to them. But we're going to do our best. We're going to do our best to talk about it. And of course, thinking about the family as we're discussing this. Okay. I want to start with one of the Banfield interviews I dropped about through News Nation, excuse me, with the Vargas report, not Banfield. I mean, I know that they're all kind of in there and sharing the same thing, but they got to talking to the family, and then we're going to go to Ashley Banfield because she also got to interview a homeless advocate, which I thought was important to talk to because it's going to answer more questions as it pertains to the shirt, the vomit shirt. Y'all, that has been the $1 million question. What's going on with with the vomit shirt? What's up with this? We've had questions about it. We feel like police hasn't really addressed it. So where does that put that information out? Does police ever really tell us everything? No, they don't. They don't ever really tell us anything. But we'll do our best to kind of go through this information, okay? And of course, shout out to you guys in the chat. Thank you for hitting the like button and spending your time with me. Let's talk about this interview.
On that 911 call and the massive search for this young man. We're joined now by Riley's stepfather, Chris Whited, and family friend, Chris Dingman. Thank you both so much for joining us. Chris, I'm so sorry to meet you under these circumstances. My heart breaks for your family. I just first want to know how you guys are doing and holding up right now.
We're doing as good as we can, under the circumstances. The community has been amazing for, supporting us, especially since we're 6.5 hours away from our home.
Are you still holding out hope you're going to find Riley alive?
We are. We're still hopeful. We can't give up hope until we have any other reason not to be.
All right, we're hearing that police showed you.
I think that that's important, y'all. Like, we need to hold hope. If the family is hopeful, that's what we have to do. We have to come from a place of hope as well. Just take the direction of what the family is wanting at this point, right? And shout out to everybody that's coming through. Shout out to everybody. Thank you guys for being here.
Some new surveillance video today. What does it show Riley doing?
The video was shown to us Sunday after they found the debit card. After the debit card was found, we met with the police and they showed us the video. It was the last known video of Riley, basically from where the body camera footage was with the officer to just right before the James Robertson Bridge. We got to see him walking, got to see him kind of at a fast-paced walk, almost a jog, and it shortened the last known window anyways.
We're looking right now
Ooh.
at body cam video from a Nashville police officer who also had a brief encounter with Riley. If we can rewind that video, guys, in the control room and show the beginning of it again, you can see Riley walking. He looks just fine in that part of the video. Is that how he looked in that surveillance video too, where he's walking pretty normally?
So my understanding is that the family has seen additional surveillance video, right, that has not been released to the public, right? So they've been able to tell us, and we'll talk a little bit about that additional surveillance because Chris, who's been advocating and speaking to the media on behalf of the family, has really kind of let us know all the stuff that's been out there. I mean, he has earlier, about 8 or 7 hours ago, he talked about that footage and where exactly it led to and everything. Yes. So that's what I took from that. So we'll talk about that footage. I think that that footage is important. Now, have we seen that footage? No, right? So kind of keep that in mind. Um, as far as that footage goes, we still have a lot of questions, right?
It appeared so. It was from a distance, but again, he did seem to be walking either at an extremely fast pace or jogging, and we all know how hard it is to balance, let alone walking if you're, been drinking, let alone try to jog.
Chris Dingman, we're also hearing more about this couple who saw Riley around the time of this police surveillance video and the surveillance video that the families had a chance to see. This couple, they're tourists from out of town. They said they called Nashville police. They did not hear back. They said they actually were concerned about Riley. The woman asked him, "Hey, are you okay? You're not going to drive, are you?" Because he did seem to be drunk at that point, right?
That's interesting.
Yes, yes. We were fortunate enough, the family did reach out via a friend, a retired FBI agent, got us in contact with them. And I tell you what, last night, the families got together. We went on a voice call or a FaceTime, whatever you call it, and the families got to spend some time together. The gentleman that was there was literally in tears with the family. He had a lot of guilt, which the family would. They have multiple children of their own. And as I explained to him, I said, don't second guess anything you did. You're the
Oh,
only one that we know that was compassionate enough to even ask Riley if he was okay, or even
look at that. Like, I would imagine that some of these witnesses asked him if he was okay, making sure he would, you're not going to drive, given how drunk he was. They're even feeling like there should have been something we could have done different, right? And these are complete strangers. They don't know each other. So keep that in mind. Um, I don't know. Jessica, you're not the only person who has said that. I think it's a very important take that even this. I want to know how long from when he hit his head to this point. I think he was intoxicated, then he had a head injury. Could he have not could he a concussion, potentially wander off and not knowing where he was at? No, we got to pray for that family, absolutely. But that's a good point. We're not really thinking about that injury that he had because yeah, that was mm, that was a rough one when you see it on that footage. Yes, he had the opportunity to ask for help. Keep that in mind. But, you know, witnesses are seeing some of everything that's been playing out. So they are feeling some type of way about, like, could we have done something? Like, could this young man have been, we would have known more information, maybe made sure that he went to his hotel. That is a legitimate feeling, right? I think that if I was a witness to something like this, I would have probably felt the same way too, like responsible. I would have probably say that a lot of you guys here in the chat would feel responsible too. That's because we're all good human beings, you know?
And talk to him. Not saying no one else did, but that meant a lot to the family, and I wanted to make sure that family knew it. They were kind and compassionate enough to even ask, and follow up with Riley, and Riley followed them and still communicated with them a little bit. Nothing more to what had happened that evening, but it was really refreshing for the families to get together and just emphasize. We've been saying this the whole time. There's a lot of people that was in Nashville that weekend that was only there, for 12 hours, 24 hours, 36 hours.
Yes.
This couple's 3 or 4 states away. So we could possibly find the right couple that had the rest of the pieces of the puzzles. We would sure love to see them.
Did this couple tell you anything else about their brief encounter with Riley that was helpful to you?
They did mention that he was on the phone, which Chris had already noticed that the cell phone data, there was an ongoing phone call. There was a conversation with a male gentleman that, we thought may possibly quite have been his fraternity brothers. To the distance of what that conversation was, it was a little unclear at the time, but, there was a conversation with who we think was them. And they were probably trying to look for Riley or figure out where he was.
Did it?
So this is the interesting part, and it's been I think a source of a lot of confusion. Vic says not only was he under the influence, is a good point to make, but hitting his head just adds to the confusion state. Exactly. We don't know. We don't know if he received any more injuries after that injury that we all saw. We don't know. It could have been so much more to it. Hell, the fact that we don't know where he's at right now just adds to the fact that there's a lot of concerns for this young man. So you're absolutely right. We don't know what else could have happened. We also can't be certain if he was vomiting. And Kate, we're going to talk about that witness here in a minute who said that, whether that was from being drunk or a concussion. Very good point. But we will be talking about it here in a little bit, okay? Jessica says, I know it's possible. I had a friend leave randomly from Tennessee and was found in Vegas. That could happen. We don't know. When I saw that head injury, I thought about that. I was like, yeah, he could have been drinking. He's drinking, not could have. He was drinking. Head injury, it really brings a whole different element to the situation, right? Keep that in mind.
Did the couple say that Riley seemed to be looking for something? We know he was headed in the exact opposite direction from his hotel. Do either of you have any theories on why he was walking at a fast clip in the exact wrong direction? He was clearly turned around.
Yes, we possibly do. This will be a two-parter. You get both of us. We've had some people on the internet throw out some theories like that. And the name of the hotel, which I was not familiar with, but Chris knows it quite well. One of them said there's actually a business not far from where Riley was at that had the same name, basically. And I'm going to let you take that one.
Wow.
So given that name, we put it in maps just to kind of see where it was at. And it is around 2nd and 3rd Street, just north of last known location by probably half mile to a mile. So there could have been some confusion if he was trying to get the address for the hotel and got this address. Could have been why he was going that way.
So there are two
again,
different, the hotel is the Tempo Hilton, and there's a business called Tempo that is in the direction that Riley was heading. So he may have Google mapped it or to get
Possibly.
and was headed to the wrong quote Tempo.
Yes.
And that was brought to light by somebody, online, within the past 24 hours, asking if we had, thought of that, and we didn't. And then when we got to looking, it was close enough that it was definitely a possibility,
It's interesting how important people online play here. You know what I'm saying? As far as a role in being helpful, like they're bringing up, first of all, you have, TikTokers finding the card. Very valuable information. You also have people that are assisting online with as much as they can. You got experts here that are able to manipulate footage to look into things. Like that's so important. CK, thank you for being a member for 1 month. Shout out to you. Thank you, love. Evil, this is a great question. He had actually I had read this before that he had visited the area before. So he wasn't new to the area. but he had visited before, so he knew of the area. I wouldn't say that he knew how to get around, but he had been in the area before, my understanding, based on what the family has released. Hold up. Let me see what everybody's comments are saying. I was just watching another channel that was them. They're telling the audience that they're searching at night because sonar works better in the dark. Sonar is sound. I don't know. That's crazy. I mean, that would be a question. Are they searching at night? Do they have that capability? That's interesting. Reports are coming out that they just pulled a homeless person out of the river who fell in this evening. That riverbank is not safe. Big. We had just talked about it. I don't know, and I'm not the only one who has said this multiple times. I don't know if we would have found the other bodies had we not been looking for Riley. Does that make sense? Because it seems to me that we're missing that point that y'all know. Like otherwise, why else would they be, you know, if this young man hadn't gone missing, there's other bodies. So that makes you wonder, like, have those people, were they also called missing? Were people looking for them? Are they homeless people? Like, what's the dynamics? And we truly don't know. So it does kind of make you wonder: is how safe is that riverbank, and what else are we doing to keep people around that area safe? I get it. People are homeless, and whatever people can be and do what they want, but there should be more done to safeguard that area. It shouldn't just happen now, it should happen all the time. Just my thought. Okay, let me see what you guys are saying. There's a lot of activity with fire rescue, but it seems like it was a homeless or rescuer that fell. Oh, wow. Okay, and they're all out there. Perfect. Okay, perfect, perfect. There's another bar with the same name he got tossed from, right near where he was. I think what they're saying is that there's another bar with a similar name. I don't know if he said that he got tossed out of that. Now we can go back a little bit to hear that information, but let me make sure because Kenneth, I don't think I heard that.
Around?
Yes, we possibly do. This will be a two-parter. You get both of us. We've had some people on the internet throw out some theories like that, and
Look,
the name of the hotel, which I was not familiar with, but Chris knows it quite well. One of them said there's actually a business not far from where Riley was at that had the same name, basically. And I'm gonna let you take that one.
interesting.
So given that name, we put it in maps just to kind of see where it was at. And it is around 2nd and 3rd Street, just north of last known location by probably half mile to a mile. So there could have been some confusion if he was trying to get the address for the hotel and got this address. Could have been why he was going that way.
So there are two
again,
different, the hotel is the Tempo Hilton, and there's a business called Tempo that is in the direction that Riley was heading. So he may have Google mapped it or to
It's
get
a hotel.
Yeah,
Possibly.
and was headed to the wrong quote tempo.
Yep.
Yes.
And that was brought to light by somebody, online, within the past 24 hours, asking if we had, thought of that, and we didn't. And then when we got to looking, it was close enough that it was definitely a possibility,
Yeah,
Thanks so much for watching.
Okay.
Go to join.
I want to highlight on the footage, okay, that Mr. Chris over here has let folks know. So this was this morning. Let me play this bigger clip here.
the family was shown.
Let me see. This was just this morning, okay? Hopefully everybody could see it. Maybe I need to move it so I can control it better. Here we go. Y'all can see that? Okay. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You guys, thank you so much for joining me. Shout out to everybody watching us from Twitter. We have a good number of people watching us from Twitter. Thank you so much for supporting and subscribing to my channel. Oh, here we go. Oh, do I need to refresh? Let's see. Here we go.
Just to release this morning about possible.
Here we go.
Able just to release this morning about possible cam footage, which we're literally standing there. It's not been released by the police yet. I don't know if there's actually something in that footage once Riley went right through here they're following up on, and I totally understand that if they are. But the family was shown some footage right here, which helps answer a lot of questions. If you kind of pan over here, you'll see the steps that lead up. That's actually the steps that a lot of people said, hey, did he go off this trail? Did he go up? There's actually a camera up on top of the two, what I'm thinking is the elevator shafts, that gave us this footage. Riley actually stopped at the light pole right behind me here and stood there for about 6 to 7 seconds.
Wow.
Was either playing on his phone or something like that, and then took back off north, back towards the second bridge. If you want, you can pan around. Actually, where the crew is set up today, handing out flyers and stuff, which is nice. That yellow sign just past them is about the last place that we see him on video. So hopefully that helps and gives everybody information.
Is there anything you'd like to say to the public at large about, as we talked about earlier, about going down rabbit holes? Or
unfortunately, the huge amount of information we've gotten, there is a lot of dark areas that if people have intentionally tried to send us and divert us from what we're doing.
Yes, so you said going down rabbit holes. Shout out to the rabbit holes. Okay. No. And this is I don't think it's been ruled out, but I also don't think that that's the part they're saying that that's what has happened. They're kind of, for me, it's like police is kind of being coy about certain things, rightfully so, because they're not wanting to, um, I guess, cause any chaos to the public. At least that's what it seems like to me, but I could be wrong. Kimmy, thank you for being a member for 7 months. Shout out to you. Thank you, Kimmy. Pika's like, listen, not rabbit holes. Leave us out of it. Leave us out of it. Thank you, Chris. Yes, we really got some amazing mods. And you're not, hold up. Let me see a comment real quick so I could see this. Ooh, I missed it. I missed it. You're not being, Kenneth, you're not being obtuse. So you're fine. Don't worry. Yes. You said you fell down the rabbit hole. No, you're fine. I think we're all kind of like, well, we're all very invested because we care. We want to see a really good outcome out of this. And we're still hoping for that because the family is hopeful of that. At the same time, there is a lot of speculation that's happening. And, it's just, I guess it's our natural human instinct is to have our minds go somewhere else. But we've all fallen down rabbit holes before, myself included. I mean, I watched some of this and even I question some of it, right? Yeah, so I definitely understand that. Let's keep watching.
So yes, there are a few places, definitely go and look at. I know you're one of the big fans of this and you've been supporting us. They can reach out to you. You can point them in the right direction. But, and if you guys see something out there that, that looks fake or something, just reach out to you. Because I know you're in contact and you can help us police those and keep people from going down the wrong areas and wrong avenues and possibly sending the right lead that we need to the wrong people.
Is there anything else you want to say to the public?
Just, we love everybody and thank you for doing what you're doing. We just want Riley home.
And to clarify, we know that Riley was last seen here, and then on down this way to the Woodland Street Bridge.
Yes.
And that's
well,
where
just to the yellow sign down there.
Well, just
so
to the yellow sign.
Our zero area of no footage has shrunk dramatically.
Right. And that's where his debit card was found, just
down in that area. Yes.
Down maybe 200 feet.
Yeah.
I'm not good with numbers.
Me neither. Football field, I can give you a good idea. But yeah.
Me too.
Yep.
Wow.
Chris, thank you.
Hey, thank you, sir. Thank you for doing what you're doing.
I mean, shout out to Chris. Like I said, everybody feels a little bit, everybody has their feelings about Chris. They don't know, I think that if he's a support to the family and he's doing right by the family, you know what? Let Chris do what he does. That's what he does. And absolutely, we encourage questioning theories in a reasonable way, right? With empathy, keeping the family in mind. Absolutely. So Chris tells us a little bit about the new footage. I don't know if everybody picked up on that. I hope everybody did. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about, let me play a little portion of this again for those that are just now coming in, because I know we got new people coming in. This is Chris. He's been helping the family. You might have seen him in a couple of interviews. We'll see him more. But he's brought up the fact that there's been new footage. And we're not privy to that new footage quite yet. Chris, I believe, has been, as well as the family. But the new footage is very telling, apparently. And there's other bookmarks that I have that I'm going to look into for you guys as well.
Release this morning about possible cam footage, which we're literally standing there. It's not been released by the police yet, I don't know if there's actually something in that footage once Riley went right through here that they're following up on, and I totally understand that if they are. But the family was shown some footage right here, which helps answer a lot of questions. If you kind of pan over here, you'll see the steps that lead up. That's actually the steps that a lot of people said, hey, did he go off this trail? Did he go up? There's actually a camera up on top of the two, what I'm thinking is the elevator shafts, that gave us this footage. Riley
Wow.
actually stopped at the light pole right behind me here
Look at
and
that.
stood there for about 6 to 7 seconds. Was either playing on his phone or something like that, and then took back off north, back towards the second bridge. If you want, you can pan around. Actually, where the crew is set up today, handing out flyers and stuff, which is nice.
Wow.
That yellow sign just past them is about the last place that we see him on video. So hopefully that helps and gives everybody information.
I don't know if that means that there's no more footage of him out there, but that's a good question. Like, I wonder if there is more footage out there. That's probably why they asked Chris to help them out in the media. It's just my assumption, though. No, I agree. I mean, he's doing a pretty good job with the media, I would say. I think so. He's not evading questions. He's answering as much as he can release, right? I think he's doing a good job.
Is there anything you'd like to say to the public at large about, as we talked about earlier, about going down rabbit holes? Or
unfortunately, the huge amount of information we've gotten, there is a lot of dark areas that if people have intentionally tried to send us and divert us from what we're doing. So yes, there are a few places, definitely go and look at. I know you're one of the big fans of this and you've been supporting us. They can reach out to you. You can point them in the right direction. But and if you guys see something out there that that looks fake or something, just reach out to you, because I know you're in contact and you can help us police those and keep people from going down the wrong areas and wrong avenues and possibly sending the right lead that we need to the wrong people.
Okay, so I'm going to stop right there, and I want to tell you guys, because I was able to contact SF Investigates after I saw his post about misinformation. Okay, so I asked him, I said, is there something that he wanted to make sure people were aware of? Some level of like, what exactly is it that needs to be cleared? And he said, this is what he told me. Basically, the family is putting everything out that they know. They're handling this incredibly well and smart. The cell phone pinged at the bridge. Phone and watch stopped at the same time. Watch did not have location enabled on it. Both had battery left. Last surveillance is in between the bridges. He says, I did take a witness statement from a group that is in the surveillance at First Avenue North and Gay. They talked to him briefly, making sure he wasn't driving. And I think we know who that witness is. He acknowledged he was drunk and that he wasn't driving. They said he was on speakerphone. Okay, keep that in mind. Their car was parked along Gay Street, and as they got in the car, one of them saw Riley leaning over the retaining wall, vomiting. As they pulled out and made a U-turn, people saw that Riley had continued walking towards the bridge. Okay, so potentially, was Riley vomiting? Yeah, I mean, there's witnesses to that. Okay, again, that is just some basic stuff in hopes that whatever misinformation is going out there is going to be helpful. There are witnesses who saw everything. Okay. All right. I want to go over here. Let me know if you guys have questions about that. I don't know if I can answer anything else other than what I was given. Let me stop sharing this and see if I can share with you guys. This interview had me a little bit like, I don't know what to make of it. And maybe you guys can help me with this one because this one was interesting. Okay. Hold up. This is pertaining to the shirt thought to be Riley's had had vomit on it. Nashville homeless advocate. So somebody saw him vomit. He was vomiting. Okay. Yeah. It's terrible for sure. Let me know your thoughts in the comments as we're watching this, okay? Here we go.
So, and thank you for having me. So when I seen the the podcast with Sabrina on there, my first thing was to go check it out to see if I could rule out anybody at the camp, because I've grown to love them down.
Yes, I'm thinking that's how it, yeah, vomit. If you hit your head, that's a pretty big sign of concussion, vomiting. Those are things that you'd have to keep in mind. I mean, I've gotten a concussion before, but I've had people in family vomiting, hit your head vomiting. It's very much need to go seek some medical help after that. And it could definitely affect your memory and your surroundings. And then add the factor of drinking. That's a whole different, that's more concerning.
On there. And there's some really good people there. But too, to see if there's any validity to it, because we've all been following the Riley Strain situation. So when I got down there, I, just kind of put my feelers out, because a lot of the people down there trust me. And there's a lot of people down there that, are more than willing to help and to provide information for things like that. The first contact that I talked to, she told me that she said the word is that a guy named Ross had the shirt down there. So I talked to her for a little bit. Another guy told me that he's seen.
So this advocate has been talking to a couple people there. If I'm understanding this correctly, hold up. Like I want to make sure I understand this, okay? And there's names that are being thrown out there. Are y'all hearing this? Because I need to take some notes here at this point.
At the camp, because I've grown to love them down there. And there's some really good people there. But too, to see if there's any validity to it, because we've all been following the Riley Strain situation. So when I got down there, I, just kind of put my feelers out, because a lot of the people down there trust me. And there's a lot of people down there that, are more than willing to help and to provide information for things like that. The first contact that I talked to, she told me that she said the word is that a guy named Ross had the shirt down there. So I talked to her
Ross.
for a little bit. Another guy told me that he's seen the shirt on the same guy, and the reason he noticed it because it was bigger. And it kind of went down further, because the guy in question, allegedly, that had the shirt, is about my height, which is 5'8". And then I left, and I got a text message from the same girl. She said she actually asked Ross, because when I was down there, I said, "Hey, have him call me if he had the shirt, or if he, tell him to call me. Let's see if we can link him up with the investigators or something to, to maybe get this shirt to him." She said that she talked to him, and that he said he was looking for copper over there by the Fort Nashboro. It's like a log cabin style building right there on Riverfront, and that he found it on the railing, and that it had puke on it, and he just wiped it off, wiped the puke off, and then put it on. And that's what multiple people said they seen him with that shirt. There was about 4 or 5.
There was multiple people that seen him with that shirt. It's a very distinct shirt. Hannah says, makes sense. The shirt would be long with how tall Riley is. Right. How tall, height. I mean, it's a distinct shirt. But some people don't feel like this shirt is like this is still something that's a bit of a theory. Like shout out to B Kind says makeup, false memories without a doubt. I don't know. But now they're saying we got a name of a witness, a person. Where's Ross? Where are you, Ross? 4 other people. Am I hearing this correctly? Are y'all capturing this? Okay, like let me know.
Shirt. There was about 4 or 5.
4 or 5
that identified him with that shirt.
So even if you maybe were suspect of the first person you asked, you said subsequent people had the same story about this man who you said his name is Ross, but I think you also aren't sure that that's his real name. Is that correct?
Ooh.
Right. So immediately when I found this information out, I immediately tried to call Crime Stoppers, and the line was busy. So as I was pulling out of the homeless encampment, there was a Metro police officer parked in parallel with the camp. So I pulled right over to him and let him know the information. I also had video of the encounter of the people telling me this and some of the stuff that they told me, and I was able to show him the video. And while I was there, another policeman pulled up, and also an undercover pulled up. So I was able to tell three different vehicles of police exactly the situation. I showed them
Mm.
the video,
Wow.
and then I also called my contact from Tent City, and she was able to explain that over the phone while I was there with the police about exactly what he said and where he found it. Um, and then I told
This is very detailed, y'all. That's right, Future. We need Ross to identify themselves and come up to the mic. Definitely very detailed. Very, very detailed. Okay?
him the name, and one of the ways I was able to identify him was because he had gotten some sort of a altercation with another guy at the camp, where the other guy actually
Hmm.
went to jail that night. So when I was telling the police officer about this, because I've had a relationship with this police officer before in the camp, I've had to call the police for a situation down there before. He was able to pull the guy up immediately on his laptop, and I was able to say, yeah, that's who they're saying had the shirt. So
Whoa.
um and that's kind of where it ended at that point.
Okay. And this is a valid question. How is the shirt going to help in the search for Riley? Anyone could have found the shirt and put it on that railing. I mean, that's a great question. Is it going to lead to where Riley's at? What if the last person that had contact with Riley took the shirt from him? Do we know if the person tried to get rid of the shirt? Like, we don't know. The shirt could have been burned. I don't know. At this point, does law enforcement have the shirt? Where are we at, right? Is this going to lead us to Riley? Or maybe it was the person that took the shirt did something to him? Or maybe he found it and just put it on, didn't think anything of it? I don't know. That's a great question.
So that man who was seen by multiple people wearing Riley's shirt with vomit on it, which is a brand new detail, and it links up to the family who saw Riley vomiting right just a few hundred yards from where the homeless encampment is. That man is known to the police. The police know about these reports now. And do you know at this point, Chris, if the police have located the man who goes by the name of Ross, who was seen wearing Riley's shirt with vomit on it?
I honestly don't know. I have made a couple calls down there, and they said they've seen police down there, but they don't know if they've talked to them or not. So they did,
Chris,
they
one other
said, yeah,
thing. You
sure.
you just gave me a detail. You said that that man who goes by the name of Ross, who was seen wearing Riley's shirt with the vomit on it, said to them, I found it on a railing near Fort Nashborough building between Gay Street and Broadway. And that may not sound like it makes sense to the national audience, but I will tell you in a moment, I'm going to show Riley's exact steps and that exact point, and it's impossible. It's impossible for Riley to have taken off his
Wow.
shirt with vomit on it and put it in the location where that homeless man described finding it, because it's way out of the distance. It's far away from where Riley was seen on surveillance video. So at least that part of where the homeless man says he found Riley's shirt on a railing, it doesn't add up. Chris, will you keep us posted on other details that you hear and check back in with us?
So that some of that doesn't add up. That's what she's saying, right?
It's remarkable information that you've brought to this puzzle, and thank God for you, honestly, because nobody seems to be able to get the police to listen to their reports, and yet you were able to, and I so appreciate you doing that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I will absolutely keep you updated. And I've talked to the family today and sent all
Huh.
the video to them so that
Wow.
they can, try to get with the police. I asked to talk to the investigators as well, because I hadn't got a call or anything since Saturday. So
Thank you for watching. Go to
Yeah.
newsnationnow.com to
It is a. I don't feel like we got a lot of questions answered, but I mean, At least we heard that there's more witnesses, I guess, you know? Right. Maybe Riley took it off because he threw up on himself. If I threw up on myself, maybe I'd do the same. And then factor in that I'm drunk. Body temperatures change. Oh, there's so much to this. We don't even know. We don't. I mean, this is why I think it gets a little bit crazy. Susie G says a shirt involvement could potentially be tested for drugs or blood in case of an attack. Well, and there's that. Kenneth says it's the same thing as with the credit card, though. The whole scene was, no, you're right. Like, it wasn't taped off, it wasn't searched, but that would be, I don't know if they knew where exactly they were searching, though. Keep that in mind. But there's, again, Mr. Chris is still speaking on various outlets. Okay.
Chris Dingman. Chris, thanks for being here. I know it's been a trying time for family and friends. Just with a new day in the search now, any new leads from overnight you're able to share?
Yeah, last night was very fruitful. It was the first night I was actually in Nashville with the family. You have to apologize for this. I skipped in hair and makeup to get an extra 10 minutes of sleep.
You look great.
We were able to follow up with some people that had actually personally reached out that wanted to deal with the family directly on some stuff. We possibly have some viable new information. We're wanting to follow up and do our due diligence and chase down those leads. But yes, it was a very fruitful evening for my first night in Nashville.
Are you able to share any more on that, or are you keeping that close to the chest?
What it is, I can a little bit. Like the lion's share of everything we've gotten, it's come from the homeless community. We actually have been across in the homeless community from where the incident happened, whatever happened with Riley, underneath the bridge there, which when you're showing the footage and stuff, the Marathon fuel station is really close to that, which we're hoping the footage that was delivered from Marathon to the police maybe gives us even more of an insight from what we're kind of collecting from the homeless camps that was across the river from where Riley went missing.
And I mentioned off the top that a homeless man was seen wearing Riley's shirt. Has that specific man been located, or Riley's shirt been found?
It has not, but we are in contact. We have the gentleman's name. We do have more information, height, build, structure, where what other camp he may possibly be in, because a lot of them,
they have a description of him, a name, what other camps he might be at. I mean, they're trying to look for this man.
I can't fathom how many camps are in Nashville, but they do rotate from camp to camp to camp. So we're just trying to reach out to him. We're not saying it's not the shirt. If we did, it would be a huge break in the case, or to actually physically get the shirt. That would bring a whole new dynamics into this, which maybe would make the police change it from a missing persons to an actual crime. But right now, that's one of my main goals today.
Okay. And Chris, also, what about that couple? I know the family had a chance to speak with the couple who saw Riley walking. What did they share about their encounter?
I had the opportunity to set them up last night with the family.
Wow.
Everybody but Ryan. Ryan actually was out at the United Cajun Navy yesterday from about 10 o'clock yesterday morning, and I think he wandered into the house to about midnight last night. That was one of the reasons we were up so late. But with Chris and Michelle, the family did reach out to me directly. I was able to FaceTime them with Chris and Michelle, and they're devastated. Their parents, they have multiple.
That's the thing we've seen is, these parents, they really want some answers. Kim says, this is terrible. It's so sad that I feel for the family. It has like Kylie Rodney all over again. Yeah, that whole Kylie Rodney thing. It's kind of, yeah, it's definitely seeming that way. Joneson says, girl, I think this was a tragic accident, but I'm so deep into this one. I just hope they find him. Imagine that, mama. Right. There's just so many turns and twists to this. Cash says, I stumbled back to my hotel alone once in Nashville. Luckily, I were on streets with walls. He appeared very drunk, and that fall, and then that hit in the head. Okay. Today has been the day of no answers. No answers in this case. No answers in Madeline Soto's presser. I don't know. Drinking too much can definitely make you feel super hot. A hot box can make you feel hot when you're drinking. I mean, there's a lot of factors. We don't know outside of alcohol what else he could have taken. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Flake Fox says, not sure if this has been discussed already, but if he fell into the body of water, have they calculated the time he was last seen to speed up the current at that time, map it out, and search further along? I'm pretty sure, Fox, that that's what they're doing, or at least that's what they've been doing. I know they're doing like a grid search now, so hopefully, that's where they're at right now.
Children. It was a very, very emotional moment in the house. I'll be honest with you, I had to walk around the corner, catch my breath. But, I told the gentleman, you could tell he was extremely distraught. They were in tears. But I just told him, I said, you know what? I said, thank you for being compassionate. You're the only one that I know physically, and I'm not saying anybody else, but that you actually cared. Your wife reached out as a mother would, seeing a
Yeah.
young person not doing well. And
Oh.
just thank you from our family for showing compassion. Don't fret on what happened after what you've seen with him, but we know that somebody was being compassionate for our boy,
Yeah.
and we appreciate that.
I can't
Wow.
imagine what you're all feeling, what you're going through. And I know it's trying for the fraternity brothers who were out with Riley that night, who want answers to this morning. They're grieving
Yes.
in their own way. You bring up the United Cajun Navy. I just had them on the show yesterday. I know yesterday the real focus was the riverbank, those waterways there. Are those closest to the investigation feeling that that is where Riley is somewhere in the water?
I can give you a little bit of insight on that. We were talking about where the county had shut the lockdown and emptied out it so they could check for interior debris from the storms and stuff. That was actually a two-part deal. In doing that, that backfilled the river back towards Nashville. And what that does is the river flows one way. When you stop it, it actually may take pressure off of, maybe if Riley was in the water and was underneath some debris or something like that, it's not got one directional pressure, it brings it back. And maybe if he is in the water, maybe this will produce more leads for us today, his clothes, phones, or anything. But what they did, they searched the dam, they searched the debris inside the lock in the dam, but that may be fruition today too, with more evidence that comes up by backfilling the river. That's what we're in hopes for.
Yeah, you bring up his phone. I know you have verified that when Riley's phone died, it wasn't because it ran out of battery. So I know you have a lot of
Correct.
questions there. Is that something nefarious? Is that when his phone submerged in water? Who?
See, that's an interesting point. The phone didn't die because it ran out of battery. Did somebody turn off the phone? What about the watch?
knows? Chris Dingman, thank you so much for your time. I know it's been long days, early mornings, late nights. We do appreciate it.
All right, I'm going to go to Twitter real quick because Twitter is twittering. I know we don't call it Twitter anymore, but y'all be calling it X, and I don't like X, but whatever, we'll deal. Somebody posted and said, Nick says, happening now, night search for Riley. Can see deeper with lights when you can during the day. They moved out and they're headed down the river. Bank is not steep at the waterline. Look at this. Look at this, y'all. Look at that. That is amazing. This is what everybody's saying. Somebody on Twitter X said, "Oh, this is some images. I'm being told person assisting in the search for Riley in need of medical rescue." Oh wow. Yeah, and I think somebody had put that in the chat. I hope they're okay. And again, if you hashtag Riley and then just Riley, I mean, a lot of stuff comes up. Uh, it's a lot going on right now out there. There's a lot of rescue. You got the Cajun Navy. It's Cajun Navy, and I just made up a whole name. Cajun Navy out there as well, helping with the search. People are mapping things out and putting stuff into perspective, right? As far as what has happened, helping with the search. Just imagine though how steep that is. Whew, it's a lot. It's a lot. Hold up, and let's see anything else. Who else? Who else? Let's see. There's a lot happening. And I am seeing that. Now, let me see, because I know SF Investigates just posted something on his Twitter just 10 minutes ago. He says, this is what he says. He says, I am going to clarify. Are we supposed to be getting more rain tomorrow too? Oh, that's not good. We're supposed to, so more rain tomorrow too. So that will make the searching conditions horrible. Wow. Yeah, no. Okay. I think everybody still calls it Twitter. I hope so, because I feel so, I don't know. I refuse to call it anything else but Twitter. Okay. Y'all can get mad at me in the chat if you want to. But anyway, SF Investigate says, I'm going to clarify a few things in the Riley case. I'm not disclosing any new information. I'm clarifying rumors and or information being misreported by media, YouTube, and SM. Ooh, SM. Who's SM? The misinformation, rumors, and wild speculation are hurting the search for Riley. Everything I'm saying here is information that the family representative, Chris, has said in one form or the other. If the information did not come from family, Chris, or directly from law enforcement, there's a good chance it's not true. The family and Chris have done amazing work to keeping everybody informed. Ooh, okay. SF got some like notes for us, okay? And I'm gonna have to hurry up on this, y'all, because social media. So, thank you, thank you. Hold up, let me see, because Baby Bunny's acting up. Hold up. Okay, I just gotta check, y'all, because momming. I gotta be a mom first. Mom is first. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay, investigations are fluid. The facts, as investigators know them, are constantly changing. This means hold up. This means narratives can change anytime. Investigations are not about guessing the conclusions up front and twisting the evidence to fit your conclusion. It's about letting evidence as you discover it tell the story, the true story. With that said, here are critical pieces of evidence as I know them. All of these pieces of evidence are already out in the public, but some are being reported inaccurately. So I think for Riley's sake and for the sake of the investigation, it's important to clarify them. Oh, first one, nobody grabbed Riley before he ran through the parking lot. There was a fight of some sort that broke out in that area, but it didn't involve Riley. Okay. The family has viewed interior surveillance from the bar. Okay. The family has also seen additional surveillance from places along Riley's route, such as the food truck. Good. Okay. That's good to know. That was a question that we had earlier. It is known for Riley. It is known who Riley was on the phone with while coming towards the bridge. Law disclosed that it was a friend of Riley's. So Riley was talking to somebody on the phone. All right. Because Banfield is reporting about the witness that talked to Riley at the intersection, I will tell you, I took a verbal witness statement from the witness. I also put this person in direct touch with the family. The witness has given a statement to law enforcement because this information leaked from Main Street media. Some of it is wrong. I will give a summary of that statement because if information is going to be public domain, it needs to be accurate information. Okay. A witness noticed Riley was very intoxicated and said to Riley, I hope you're not driving. Riley replied and said he wasn't and was very polite and made a joke. The witness said Riley was on speakerphone with someone. Again, law enforcement I'm spitting everywhere. Excuse me. Again, law enforcement said Riley was on the phone with a friend in this area. The witness was getting into their car and noticed Riley had stopped and was leaning over the embankment wall to the river and vomiting. We just reported that here with everybody. Shout out to SF. This is known information, all right? Just be mindful of that. It's known. This got the witness attention because of the way he was hanging over the wall. Riley then proceeded on towards the bridge. As the witness left and made a U turn, they noticed Riley walking without distress towards the bridge. The witness lives out of state and didn't even know Riley was missing until the 16th. So, as of recent, Riley was captured on surveillance between both bridges walking towards the JR Bridge. and is tracked until very close to the bridge, but is not seen exiting the other side. Riley's phone last pinged 50 to 100 feet to the south of the bridge. His phone and watch stopped at the same time. Due to the phone, his debit card was found in the exact same area the phone stopped pinging, and the same area Riley was not seen exiting. Whew. Okay. Riley did not have location did not Riley's watch did not have location service enabled. There may be additional surveillance. We hope there is. This is what I was wondering too. Reports that it's been confirmed that a shirt ended up with a homeless person, as far as I have been told at this minute, false. Okay? So I'm kind of wondering if I have to ask a question about this. And I'm not trying to discredit all of these 5 or 6 witnesses, but I kind of have to wonder if Banfield did that interview how many hours ago with the advocate, which I'm sure they mean well, 22 hours ago. But the reports about the shirt are false. And they've kind of grown legs. This is what SF is saying. Yeah, so if his Apple Watch was using the phone, meaning if the phone stops working, so does the Apple Watch. That's what I picked up on that. Okay, let me finish reading, all right? Because, like I said, this is important. This is important. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Reports that it's been confirmed that his shirt ended up with a homeless person, as far as I have been told at this minute, false. Riley's mother and stepfather were on with Banfield today, and when she tried to make it sound like it was confirmed, his stepfather said something to the effect of, "That is not new news. That rumor has been around since last Tuesday." In other words, I think he meant to say, in other words, it's a rumor, not a fact. If this is true, then it's amazing that thousands of people have not been able to find this homeless person, including the advocate that claimed that they were able to get in touch with him just minutes after asking others to put him in touch. When Riley is found, he will tell the story. A full investigation will take place. The search for Riley needs to be the focus, not turning this case into a circus. If all this energy was focused on search grids, we would probably have Riley back right now. These are the facts as I know them. This is an active investigation and it's subject to change directions at any time based on evidence and facts, not on speculation, rumors, and bad reporting. SF. Woo, SF is not playing with y'all. It's not playing with y'all. Mm-mm. But it's true. It's true, y'all. This is this is harmful, right? Like we have to be careful, yo. I know. Tell them, SF. Tell them. Say it. Say it for the people in the back, on the way back. Y'all go follow SF Investigates on Twitter. I think that this is what it is. He's a boots on the ground, y'all. So why did Banfield release that video? And again, I'm not trying to shade Banfield, but they had the interview with the advocate. It got over 200,000 views. But people saw, allegedly, there's been a lot of witnesses. I got questions. Listen, Linda, I don't know. I got questions. So, yeah, this is what we're going to do. All right. I'm going to go live tomorrow. We're going to talk about this case again. Maybe something might happen developmental wise. I'm going to see if I can reach out to SF. And if there's anything additional that we can provide for everybody, but everything that he's providing is available on his Twitter. You guys go check it out. I'll shade her if you want. No, don't shade. Y'all leave Miss Banfield alone. Y'all leave her. I like Banfield. I mean, she's advocating. She's upset. I think she's correct in the sense of like, well, first of all, we don't know what there's alleged witnesses. So let's get that story out there. But some of the information can't be substantiated, and that needs to be substantiated, and so I get it. I get it. Because people want drama and speculation, they don't want facts. Those are boring. The facts are boring sometimes. I mean, that's Y'all, I try to do the facts. I try to bring a little bit of like, you know, um, sauce to the situation as much as I can. But at the end of the day, we have to be able to be factual. Be Kind says shirt equals drama. And when there is no news, the drama becomes the story. Be Kind, I have to agree with you on that one. I mean, you're 100 on that. Okay. We got to do what we got to do. But you know what, you guys? Let's do this. If the family's holding hope, then we got to hold hope for the family. Okay? Can we do that? If the family's holding hope, let's hold hope for the family. Let's, energy wise, I believe in energy. Energy wise, let's give that to the family behind, online, on Twitter. Just pray for this family. Do what you got to do. Hold hope because that's really what we need at this point. The speculation is always going to be there, but hold hope in your heart for this family. All right, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, okay? Let me know what you think. I will see you guys on the next one. Okay. All right. Y'all have a great one. Rabbits out. I'll be live tomorrow. Bye, guys. Rabbits out.